Hello Wolfpack. I'm doing a video today on what altcoins I'm interested in buying in this current dip. Just a preface to this video, I'm not interested in buying altcoins unless we pass this marked area here. I have an alert set at 44,500. Crossing that level will put me in a good position to buy altcoins, put the whole market in a good position to buy some altcoins, because we will be essentially flipping this entire region and this entire downwards region over here and creating a new higher high. So once we get above 44,500, so say we could go down again to like 42.5 and then sweep up, or we could just do it in this current move, but I'm not liking the look of this ascending channel. It looks like a bit of a pattern of exhaustion, but who knows, we could be going up on this current move. Once we get to that region and flip it for support, and even the 44 region, once we flip that for support and start heading upwards, that's what I'm going to be interested in altcoins, because that will prove to me that the cyclical theory and what I'm predicting is actually going to play out. That will validate that whole scenario, because I don't see us dropping down below 40k if we're going to cross this entire region and create a higher high. I just don't see that happening. I think if we're going to drop, we're going to drop now. If we're going to drop below 40k, we're going to drop now. We're not going to create a whole higher high on this entire move. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Of course, it's possible, but it's not probable, is what I'm saying. So we're looking good. Like, we're not looking too badly on Bitcoin. It looks like we may be, I would probably lean to the corner of which we're probably going to be moving upwards. Of course, that was my prediction the whole time. Not to be one of those people, but I have been saying for months that we're going to come back down to the bull market support band and retest it at 40k and then head upwards. So yes, of course, I'm sticking by that prediction. But, I think anyone would be lying if they said they weren't getting a bit scared when we were wicking down here to 39.5k. Of course, that's scary. And that's not really a dip I'd want to be buying. So that's why I'm waiting for a bit more confidence in the market. And just keep in mind as well, going above 44.5k will also flip this 100 SMA on the hourly chart. Flipping that usually doesn't lead to falling down below it within a few days at least. It's quite a solid support SMA, so hopefully we can flip that as well. So this whole video is basically regarding a couple of altcoins that I really want to be picking up once we cross that region, and these altcoins are Digibyte and Bitcoin Cash. Alright, and I know these aren't the typical altcoins you'd be expecting me to pick up in this current market. A lot of people would say pick up things like Solana on their dips, and, Terra and Terra Luna, Avalanche, coins like that, all the hot coins right now. I completely disagree. I think you should be picking up coins because we are, we're in a bit of a rough situation on Bitcoin. We'll flip to the hourly chart, the 1 day chart, and we can see that, although we've kind of avoided a drop below 40k here in this entire move, we're still not in the best position, and I don't think we're going to be in a very good position until we actually make a higher high above 52.9k. So 53k is where I'm going to restore 100% confidence in the market. Even if we could draw some sort of trend line from 64k down through here, even breaking this trend line and breaking the downwards trend, because we are technically still on a long-term downwards trend, and the fact that we have a higher high here and we have a lower high over here. So logically, the next move would be either to bottom out here and make a higher low, or continue heading downwards. So I don't think, in terms of the long-term structure on this year, I don't think we're looking the best until we actually break and make a new all-time high. And then from that region, if we break and make a new all-time high here at 53k, I'm basically 100% sure we're going to be making, 100k Bitcoin by the end of the year, or even, by Q1, if we're going to take into account lengthening cycles. It could be Q1. But we kind of struggled here. We got rejected. As you can see on the volume profile, we have a massive spike of volume here. We got rejected pretty harshly off there and just headed straight down. And we followed that entire fractal that, lots of people have been speaking about, where this whole move looks like this whole move. So yes, 44.5k in the short term is a region I want to be retaking. And at that point, I will be buying Digibyte and Bitcoin Cash a bit more. I haven't sold all of my coins. I never sold all of my coins. I knew this was going to happen, so that's why I didn't sell all my coins. I'm very confident we're going to go up here, but I want 100% confirmation, because the last thing we want, guys, lots of people have been there before. Even though you can be as confident as you want, it's going to go up. But the last thing you want is to hold your bags that are down 90% in a 3-year bear market until the next bull market. It's just not a fun time. You'd rather be 100% in the clear before you get in position to, make yourself in that position. And that's why. No, that's my main reason why I like Bitcoin Cash and Digibyte, because they're coins with, massive upside potential. If we just look at the coin market cap charts quickly, we've got the trading view charts up, but we'll just look at these quickly. It's pretty clear they have big upside potential. I mean, Digibyte, we'll go on the coin market cap chart here, trading view chart, sorry. It's ran up massively this year. All right, that's one thing you could argue as a counterpoint here. It's ran up, 7-8x. It's a pretty big run up this year, and it's a pretty spiky mover. As you can see, we had that spike up in the last bull market. We're having the spike up now. But the reason why I like this coin, that I'm buying it now, and the same thing with Bitcoin Cash, is because it's tried and true. Digibyte has been around since 2014. Bitcoin Cash has only been around since 2017. However, it has the name Bitcoin. And I've mentioned this point multiple times in my previous YouTube videos. It has the name Bitcoin, and what does that mean? Well, it means if we see a bear market, it's probably not going to go to zero. Right? That's simple as that. If we see a bear market, it's probably not going to go to zero. I don't think we're going to see a bear market. In fact, I'm 95% sure we're not going to see a bear market here. It would be completely abnormal for us to see a bear market in terms of a macro perspective. I don't think it's going to happen at all in the slightest. But if it does happen, I don't want to be holding coins that I'm not 100% sure are going to survive. I want to be holding coins like Digibyte and Bitcoin Cash that I'm sure are going to make it to the other side of the bear market. And another reason why you want to be holding coins like this, a lot of people say hold Bitcoin for a bear market, and Bitcoin's another great buy right now, by the way, but Bitcoin's always a great buy in my opinion. Another reason why you would be holding Bitcoin Cash and Digibyte is because they have the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. They're very familiar. Digibyte is a known competitor of Bitcoin. It's literally basically a copy and paste of Bitcoin in terms of tokenomics, and then in terms of the actual use case, it's completely different. But it's a competitor of Bitcoin that has a strong community, just like Nano as well. That doesn't seem like it's just going to go away. You don't see whole communities dissipate because of one bear market. Digibyte's been through multiple bear markets. It's been through 2 bear markets, and it's been around, right? And it's still pumped new all-time highs on each one. Okay, so it's a very strong asset. Bitcoin Cash has a tried and true community. It's always, even with Lightning Network coming out, even with the Lightning Network coming in, I think the thing with the Lightning Network that we need to understand here, a lot of people argue that, when the Lightning Network is fully adopted and people use it on a daily basis, Bitcoin Cash is going to become obsolete, right? I don't think that's the case at all. I think the Lightning Network is very sustainable for massive institutions, big companies, like, stores, shops. I don't think it's very logical to use for an individual. I think Bitcoin Cash is much easier. And for that reason, I think Bitcoin Cash will always have a place in the market. It's already being used in Venezuela. It's already been used in Africa. It's been adopted along with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum at basically every major institutional adoption for payments in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So it's got the adoption. It's got everything that other coins, Bitcoin Cash. It's got everything that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin have, right? And as an added bonus, it's got the name Bitcoin, right? It's got the name Bitcoin. People who come to the market, new people, and cryptocurrency is a very new space. There's going to be an abundance of new people coming into the market. When they come into the market, they're going to look for coins with the name Bitcoin because they're not going to know what's going on, and they're going to buy things with the name Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin Cash is always going to have that natural appeal, and even when they get educated, they'll learn about Bitcoin Cash and they might like it. It's got that natural advertisement that it doesn't really need to market itself like other coins do. For example, like Solana, for example, right? It had to do with self-marketing, had to, do ad programs. Bitcoin Cash has that already just from the name, and they're upgrading constantly. They're just really smart, Bitcoin Cash as well. So I think these 2 coins, and for that reason, they've got massive upside potential. They've got the upside potential of every altcoin, and they've also got the ability to stay safe on the downside, right? And that's why I like buying these coins when I'm not 100% certain about the market, right? I'm not saying that I'm not certain it's going to go up Q4, Q1. I am pretty certain it's going to go up Q4, Q1, but this is where I pick up, if we reach 53k, as I said, that's where I'm going to be picking up the coins, the WAN chains, all the coins that are more quote unquote moonshotty than coins like this that are tried and true. When Bitcoin's in showing signs of recovery, I'll pick up Bitcoin Cash and Digibyte when it's actually fully recovered And, when Bitcoin dominance starts to drop, that's when I'll be picking up some of the lower cap coins. That would be very high risk typically to hold into a bear market. So it's all about risk management. And we can look at the Bitcoin Cash chart and the Digibyte chart. So we've got Digibyte. And, we've got, this rounding out structure, which is bearish, it's bearish. But every altcoin's bearish right now, right? Every altcoin looks terrible. All right, we're all fully down from our all-time highs besides like 3 coins, which is like Solana, Avalanche, and Luna. That's it. Everything's getting wrecked right now. But that's not a bad thing, right? In fact, it's great opportunities. And you can see we're still above our critical support box. We don't want to be re-entering that support box. What we actually want to be seeing is this current price that we're at right now being the low. We want to be seeing this being the low. And before we actually make a move on Digibyte, we want to be reaching 44.5k on Bitcoin, and we also want to be flipping 5.1 cents. Sorry, yes, 5.1 cents on Digibyte here. Right, that's our first resistance zone to take. We dropped below that recently, and we want to be flipping that zone, that black line there, flipping that over. That's where we'll pick up some Digibyte, and then we'll head up, later in the year, and we'll form this higher low. We've had a higher, a higher high in terms of this one set in July. We had a higher high here just recently, a few weeks ago, and we've had higher lows. So logically, the pattern is going to be ascending upwards in this like kind of ascending channel formation. Until we see something similar to what we saw here. So we saw this ascending channel formation, and eventually we just blasted, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Bounce, 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 blast, okay? That's essentially what I'm expecting on Digibyte. Bitcoin Cash is very similar, very similar. We want to be forming a higher low. We had this cup and handle formation from the last time I looked at this chart. And we still kind of have it, I guess. We broke out to the upside, as you can see, but we got rejected from this, major resistance block, which we actually needed to flip the whole structure and put it back on an upwards trend. We got rejected, that's normal, and we got shut right down here. So we want to be creating a higher low at this region. And as I said, when Bitcoin flips 44.5k, we'll probably be buying into some Bitcoin Cash and, waiting for another upwards channel like this, potentially, and then potentially a blast off. Good thing about these two coins as well is you're not sacrificing anything by buying them, because they perform just as well as any other altcoin, right? Digibyte, as you can see, very spiky mover, moves very quickly. Bitcoin Cash kind of does the same thing. And, we have support blocks, particularly on Bitcoin Cash. We have this security on the downside in the short term as well, not even on a macro scale. Right now, you can see the volume profile. We've reached that region. We've bounced straight up above it. We've had a massive spike in the volume profile in this region, which means there's a lot of interest in Bitcoin Cash in this region. And Bitcoin Cash particularly, way more than Digibyte. Digibyte's already surpassed its all-time high. Bitcoin Cash's all-time high is all the way up here at 4,000 USD, so basically almost, not quite, almost a 10x from current prices. It's all-time high. Digibyte's probably more like a 3x, but, Bitcoin Cash certainly has that big potential. It hasn't ran yet. It's one of the dino coins, that doesn't really gather much attention in the start of bull markets. It's more of a later in the bull market coin that people pick up towards the end. But yeah, I'm bullish on these coins, and there's the argument you can make as well that, there's a pretty common argument that you can make with these coins and, with every coin in the market, that this doesn't look natural, right? It doesn't look like a bull market structure. What it actually looks like is it looks like we're going to come down here and die, right? And just flatline again for another 3 years. I'd argue that's not true. Not only due to the macro structure of Bitcoin, but also because of the fact we saw this before, right? This is the 2017, 2018 bull market, okay? We had this massive pump up in 2017. This is Digibyte, by the way. Massive pump up in 2017. We died, right? We bounced around for a while. Basically the same thing we've been doing now, right? We had this massive run up, all right? Massive run up. We died, bouncing around. And then, obviously, towards the end of the year, Bitcoin dominance starts to drop, and then it skyrocketed, right? There's no reason to believe that we're going to be doing anything different. Same thing on Bitcoin Cash, right? In terms of, it's actually not a very good example, because Bitcoin Cash only came out in the middle of this bull market. So it's a bit of a bad example, but we can basically assume that if it was around towards the start of it, where Digibyte had that pump, it would do something like this, bounce around for a while, and then go straight upwards, towards the end of the year. I have no reason to believe they're going to be doing anything different than that unless we drop below 40k. All right, if we drop below 40k, it's a different story. All of this is invalidated. Okay, but from what I've seen, from what I've looked at in my charting, I've been charting for a while now, right? I'd say I'm pretty experienced. From what I've looked at, we're bullish, right? There's nothing that's telling me we've invalidated any macro cyclical theory. In fact, we can bring up the index here, and we did this a few days in a row now, but I think it's the most important thing to do at this point in time, right? Because people are skeptical. People are scared, and they're selling, and the point is, this is what the whales want you to do, right? And I know you've heard that hundreds of times on every YouTube channel, and it's very easy to say that, you know, when you're not down massively. But I understand when you're down massively, it's not easy to hear the truth. And the fact is, every single September, all right, I've brought this up multiple times now. Each tick here and cross represents a time in September that we've retested the bull market support band. You can see that 8 out of the last 9 Septembers, we've retested the bull market support band. We're currently just seeing that play out, right? We haven't dropped below it. Nothing's been invalidated. We're retesting it like expected in September. Everything's going to plan, you know, and a Q4, my prediction for Q4, I actually don't know why that line's there, let's delete that. But my prediction for Q4 is, I've said it multiple times here, that basically we're having diminishing returns and slightly lengthening cycles, in my opinion. It's according to the 4-year cycle theory, so minus 53% each cycle and plus 14 days each cycle. And that would put us at a price of 115,000 by the end of the year, 27th of December. And that's assuming we close September at current prices. If we close September higher or lower, that price prediction is going to adjust. But if you want a set in stone price prediction from me, come back on the 1st of October. I'll upload a video with my fully revised price prediction. It's going to be set in stone. Now, do I think there's a chance we're going to extend past Q4 this year on Bitcoin? Because remember, altcoins always extend past Q4, right? We had Bitcoin topping out here in mid-December in 2017. Altcoins ran into late January, okay? So there's no reason why altcoins can't run into late January or even early February, even if Bitcoin tops out in December. There's no reason why that can't happen. But do I think that Bitcoin might top out later? Yeah, of course. Of course I do. You know, I think that there's, you know, even though we have to stick with the 4-year cycle theory to some extent, we've only seen 2 cycles. So it's not exactly set in stone data, right? It's very early data. You know, maybe if this cycle plays out exactly the same, we can be more confident next time. But what I can be confident in is we're going to see some sort of upside in Q4, right? That's what I can be confident in. But I can't be confident in saying when it's going to end exactly because we just simply don't have enough data. You know, this has only been around for, 3 full cycles. We had like a half cycle at the start, but I don't count that because that's not a full cycle. So we've had 3 full cycles, 2 full cycles actually. This is the 3rd. So it's not really enough data to make precise price predictions off of. But assuming it is, this is my price prediction for Bitcoin, right? 27th of December will top out, and the price point will be somewhere around that region. I'll finalize that in October, but 115,000, something around there. Whether this could extend, I have spoken about the lengthening cycles theory earlier in my earlier videos, and also my earlier, posts on Telegram. I used to speak about it quite extensively. There is a good chance, and if you want to learn more about this, I recommend Benjamin Cohen. He's a big believer in lengthening cycles. There's a very good chance that we could be going into 2022 here, right? There's a very good chance we could just extend into 2022 and then drop down, right? I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm saying that that probably is very possible, right? But I'm just going to stick with what I have here. I'm going to stick with the data, and when it is invalidated, then I can start considering that. Because I'm not losing anything by the cycle extending into 2022, right? We could reach this price prediction here of 115,000 and still go into 2022. I'm not losing anything by that. But I like to keep this conservative, right? I like to think about what has happened in the past and extrapolate that data to what's happening now. When that's invalidated, then I'll start looking at lengthening cycles theory. And, the cycles are already lengthening. I'm not saying they're not lengthening. I've added 14 days, right? That's 2 weeks, right? That's a long time in crypto. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, something can 10x, That's a lengthening cycles theory. But I think when people refer to lengthening cycles, they refer to lengthening by months, and that's possible. I'll look into that when it comes. But the point is, did you buy in Bitcoin Cash is what I'm interested in right now for the security. I do think Bitcoin is kind of recovering here. I think we're in a pretty good position, but I'm going to be waiting for that clarity. 44.5k in the short term, and then for absolute 100% confirmation, 53k. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys at the next one.